In this video, I'm going to show you how to sign up for a Bluehost account. Now, Bluehost provides shared hosting, and by signing up for an account with them and pointing your domain name to their domain name servers, your website will be live on the internet. So there are many shared hosting services out there, so you might ask, why should I choose Bluehost? Well, there are several reasons. The first is the price is reasonable and they don't overload their servers. So Bluehost is certainly not the cheapest host available out there, but with shared hosting, you really get what you pay for. Some of the cheaper hosts will overload their servers. Long story short, that means your site may be down often and for considerable periods of time. So with Bluehost, for $6 or $7 a month, depending on the commitment that you make to them, you'll experience very little, if any, downtime, and they have excellent responsive technical support if you do experience any problems. So I've been using them personally as my host for over a year now, and everything is run perfectly, and I have no qualms whatsoever about recommending them. So the next reason I like Bluehost is because they use cPanel, and that's the interface that you use to navigate your account. It's a very user-friendly interface, and it's basically an industry standard. And the final reason I like Bluehost is because WordPress is super easy to install. It's basically a one-click installation, as you will see shortly in this video. To get to the Bluehost sign-up page that you're looking at now, I'm going to ask that you use the link in the description below this video. And full disclosure, when you use that link, I will receive a commission from Bluehost, and that income allows me to produce valuable content like this video for free. Most of the services that I promote on this site are services that I use personally, and all the services I promote, I believe in 100%. And if I promote something that I don't use personally, I will always let you know. With that out of the way, let's get started. So the first piece of information that Bluehost is looking for is your domain name. Now, the important thing to remember here is that domain name registration and web hosting are two different things. It just so happens that Bluehost is a web host and it's also a domain name registrar, so you can do both with them. I prefer to keep those two things separate, so I have my domain names registered with Namecheap. They're a great company and they're cheap, as their name implies. And I do my web hosting through Bluehost. And I just prefer to keep those two things separate. But if you do need a domain name and you want to register it through Bluehost, you can see that Bluehost does offer a free domain as part of the registration process. Since I have my own domain name, I'm going to use the box to the right here. And the domain that I've got registered that I want to start the site for is called deliberatepersonalfinance.com. So I'm just going to enter that into the box and then hit next. So that's going to take you to the page where they're looking for all your personal information. So enter your name and address and phone number. Bluehost may want to call you to verify that you do indeed want to open this hosting account. And just enter all the information that they require there. I'm going to enter mine now, and I won't show you that, but I'll be back in a second to talk about the packages. So here are the packages that they offer. It's on the same page, just scrolled down a little bit. They offer a pro package. We're not going to worry about that. If we look at the standard packages that they offer, there's a 12-month for $6.95, then they offer a 24 or a 36-month package for $5.95, so the longer you commit, the cheaper it gets. I'm not a guy who likes to commit long-term to these kind of things, so I will happily pay an extra $1 a month and just commit to 12 months. So once we select that 12 months at $6.95, we're going to uncheck the two boxes underneath that. Those are things that you don't need when you're first starting out, and most importantly, you don't need to pay for them. If we scroll down a little further, you're going to enter your billing information. I won't show you mine, but once you're done, just click Next. So once your payment is processed, and it takes literally seconds, you're going to get this welcome screen where it says, congratulations, your purchase was successful, and it'll send you a confirmation email to the email that you provided. And the next thing we need to do is choose a password for our Bluehost account. So we're going to do that by going right down here and clicking Create Your Password. So the criteria for this password are fairly stringent, and they outline it here to the right. As you enter your password, those criteria will disappear as the criteria is met. So it's a bit of a complicated password, but I've got one worked out already, so I'm just going to enter it right now. And as I enter the letters and numbers and symbols, you'll see the criteria disappear as I use them. And once you've entered it, of course, they want you to confirm it just to make sure it's accurate. I'll do that now. And then down here, there's an optional verification pin. I'm not going to do that, so since I'm not doing that, just hit submit. Now it'll take you immediately to the Bluehost account login, so you're going to just enter the password that you just created a second ago, and I'll do that now. Once you've done that, just hit login. So they recognize this is the first time that you've logged in, and they ask if you need some help getting started. If you do, you can go ahead and click that button. I've been here before, so I'm going to click no thanks, I'm fine. And you can see now that you are in cPanel. You're in the control panel for your account, and one piece of important information is right down here on the left, and you can see it's right here. It's deliberatepersonalfinance.com, so that's my main URL. And they generate a username for you, and I always like to write this down. You can always get it out of your Bluehost account, but I always like to write it down separately because you'll need that for a few other things that we're going to do, not today, but in the future. So, cPanel looks quite complicated. There's not actually much here that you need to use, and at a later date, I'll do a video just going through cPanel. But for right now, I'm going to take you to Namecheap. Namecheap is my domain name registrar. And I'm going to show you how to point your domain name to Bluehost domain name servers. Okay, so I've logged into my Namecheap account, and Namecheap is where I register and manage my domain names. And I've selected deliberatepersonalfinance.com to modify, and that's what we're looking at here. So if you look on the left-hand side of the page, you'll see just under the general there, two below that is domain name server setup. I've clicked that. And it shows me what domain name servers this domain name is currently using. And you can see there that I am using Bluehost. When I first registered this domain name with Namecheap, it automatically points to their default servers, which are, of course, not Bluehost. So unless you're registering your domain name with Bluehost, in which case it will, by default, point to their servers. So if you're using any other registrar, you have to go in and change your domain name servers to Bluehost servers, which in all cases, no matter what registrar you're using, it's ns1.bluehost.com and ns2.bluehost.com. Okay, so I've gone to Google and I've typed deliberatepersonalfinance.com in the address bar, and this is what pops up. You can see from the top there that Bluehost is in fact the host. But the rest of the information on there is default information, and that's because we have no content on our website yet. In fact, we have no content management system installed on our Bluehost account. So that's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to go install a content management system called Wordpress. So I'm back in cPanel here. I'm going to scroll down to Software and Services, and I'm just going to click on WordPress. And I do want to install that. So we want to pick the most recent version, which is the 3.2.1 in this case. And we would like to install that on our root directory of deliberatepersonalfinance.com. We're not going to worry about the advanced options. You don't need to worry about that right now. So we're just going to click that we've read the legal information and complete the installation. And there you go, it's installed. It gives you your login URL, and it also gives you your username and password. And don't worry, I will have changed that password by the time you guys get to look at this. So the last thing I'm going to do is go back to the page that we were just looking at, and I'm just going to click refresh. And there you can see it's a default WordPress information on there. But you can see that this website is in fact live on the internet.